Hi everyone, and welcome to part 5 of our pendulum build. We left off last time on page 9 and we completed parts B and part C. And so today we're going to pick things up on page 10, and this section goes for several pages through to page 14. All right, so let's get right into it. Starting with on page 10, step 1, we need part number 31, which is on board number 3. So we're going to grab board number 3 right over here, and we're going to get part 31. Pop that right on out. Set that aside. Okay, so we have part 31, and we're going to take from last lesson part C, and that is going to go into the top hole in part 31. But we want to make sure we have it going in the right direction. So on this side, if we look at the diagram where we have the small circle and the big circle before the gear, that's different from this side where we have this part here. So we want it facing in this direction, and we want this side to go through like this. Okay, so we're going to leave that like that. And then if you notice on the next section, it's telling you to pay attention to make sure that the teeth on this gear are pointing in the left direction. And so I'm just going to check those hooks. The hooks on the teeth are pointing to the left. So this is good. You would not want it to go the other way where the teeth are pointing to the right. So part 1 is done. Now we're going to go to step 2. And for step 2, we need two 25 gears and one 23 cap. And the 25 pieces are going to get waxed. So we're going to grab, let's see where our 25 is. That is going to be on board number 1. Okay, board number 1, parts 25 here and here. And I'm going to use my tool to pop those out. So I'm going to take this one first, and we got both of those, and it looks like this board is complete, so I can set that aside. And I am going to wax these before putting them together. And again, if you want to fast forward through this, you can. Work your way all the way around. First piece, I'm going to do the second gear. Okay, so those are both done. And so we're going to take this part right here, and we're going to press this gear on first. And then this one right over top of it. Okay. And then we're going to get part number 23, which is right here. Pop that out. And we are going to cap this off. Okay, so excuse me. So that is put together. Those are capped off. Okay. So at this point on number 2, if we hold it up like this, it should look. That's the. I did something wrong here. My apologies. We're going to take this off and these 2 spokes off. I put this on the wrong side. So these are both going to come off. I apologize for that. We want, what I failed to look at on this is we want those gears to go in on the opposite side. So instead of on this end, I want it to be on this end here. So from this direction, we're going to put those gears in. Let's try this again. That goes there. That goes over top of it. And then this is going to cap it off. Okay. Now we're in shape, and that is looking like we see here in the picture. Okay. And from the side view, it looks like this. Same as in the picture right here. So now we can move on to number 3, which is putting part B, which is the other gear that we made last time. Part B is going to go into, we're going to get our main pendulum here, and part B is going to go into this opening right here, like so. And you want the gears, if you look at this from the side, you want the gears to mesh with the main gear that we made in the very first lesson. Okay, so we're going to leave this laying flat here. And now, for step 4, we're going to be installing the piece we just worked on into the main section by going first into the openings on the base and then sliding it in. And what I want you to notice is the 3rd hole down in the main piece is going to fit into the circle on this gear up here. And then the 5th hole down from the top is going to fit into the circle of the main gear here. So let's do that right now. So we want this facing out, okay? And we're going to start by pivoting this into place. I want to hold this in a way that hopefully you can see in the video. So I have that in there, and then this is going to pivot down, and I'm going to line up and fit this into here, and then this into here. So I'm going to try and leave it laying flat like this so that hopefully you can see it in the video how I attach this. And you want to just make sure that you're carefully aligning everything the way it should be. So I have this fitting in here, and I have this fitting kind of in here, but not all the way, because this has to push down. So what I'm going to do is grab this and try to pop that down. You see where that popped into place? And then I should be able to push this forward. But the reason this isn't pushing in is because this gear is not aligned. So what I want to do is just rotate this gear until the teeth line up, and then this will pop into place. Okay, so now those are meshing, And if I rotate this piece, it's actually moving all of these gears very nicely. Okay, so that step is finished, and we have now, this is number 5. If we look at this assembly, it should look like this from this angle, and from the side, it should look like this with part A, B, and C in place. So looking at mine, it looks just like we have in the picture. This gear is facing out, and if we look at it from the side, we have the same image. Okay, so now we're going to move on to page 12. And on page 12, we need parts 32, which is on board number 3. So board number 3, parts 32. Where is part? Oh, right here. I'm gonna pop these 2 out. And these are braces, basically to kind of keep things supported, and so that the gears stay lined up. So let's take a look at how these go together. We have our parts. We want them lined up like this, like we see in the picture. And we're gonna have to have these go in at an angle and then down first, angled in, and then snapping into this part right here. Okay, so let's try and do that right now. So I'm gonna hold this, hopefully so you can see. So we're gonna start with part number 32. We're gonna go in at an angle, and we want this notch and this notch here, here, and here to fit into this notch and this notch here. So let's see here. Oh, we have this backwards. Hang on. Apologies again. So we want this facing out. I had it backwards again. So now we want this notch and this notch to fit here and here. So let's try this again. Turn that in. And once you have it started, I would try to just push on each joint, on each individual piece, until it slides fully into place like that. Okay, so there's our first one. And now we're gonna do the other side, which is just a repeat of the first side. So we're gonna take our piece, scoot it in like this, and like this. And again, we'll slide it in until it can't go any further. And now what you should have is, if you look at it from the top, these pieces kind of butt up against each other. These pieces are slid all the way in, all right? And it should look just like that from the top, that from kind of a side angle, just like it's showing in step 9, okay, right here where my thumb is. So now we're gonna move on to step 10, and that's gonna be a top brace for up here. And we are gonna need parts number 33, and that's also on board number 3. So going back to board number 3, parts number 33 are here and here. So I'm gonna carefully break those out. There's one. There's 2. Okay. So let me try and not have this go the wrong way this time. We want the gear sprocket facing out, and we want to take this part and have it going in this direction for the left-hand side, and then going in this direction for the right-hand side. And what we want to do is first pry these apart, kind of spread them apart lightly, okay? And then we're going to slide this forward so that this hooks into here and this hooks into here. Just like that. And then we're going to scoot that in like so. And you can go until it stops, until it can go as far as it can. And then we're going to do the same exact thing with this piece. We want it going this way, the reverse of the first one. Okay, so we're lining those up. This one's a little bit fussy to do, but there we go. I think the key with this is just patience and just making sure that you carefully pry things apart and don't force anything. It'll all fit together once everything lines up. Okay, so now it looks like this from the top and kind of like this from an angle, just like we have in the picture on step 12. So now we're going to go on to the next page. And this is the last few parts for this checkpoint. Step number 13 is going to involve, let's see here, parts 34 and 35. So there's one piece that's 34 and then 2 35s. And so we're going to see how these come together here. We want this gear facing us. And let's get parts number 34. Those are on board number 3. So here's number 34. And then 2 35s. So that's here and here. Okay, so this is going to go in from the top right here, like this. So let me see if I have it positioned right in the camera. So this piece goes in from the top and then pops in to these notches right here. Just like that. And that should kind of snap into place and hopefully stay. Okay, so that one is in. And now our part number 35, there's a close-up over here. It goes down first and then to the left. So we're gonna hold this just like it shows in the picture, which is like this. And I'm going to do the left side first. So we want it to go down through here. Might have to pivot it a little bit. Let me show that to you again. If you try to go straight down, it might get stuck like this. It's going to get stuck. If you pivot it a little bit, it'll fit through. So down and in. And then try and fish that through like that, and that locks it in place on the corner there. And then we're gonna do just the reverse of that on the other side, starting like this, go in at an angle, and pop that in place. This one's a little fussy. There we go. Okay. So our braces are in place there on the left and right side. And that is our checkpoint. Okay, so we are right here. And for your picture, you can send me in a picture that looks just like this. You could take it from this exact angle. That way I can see that your braces are in place on the top. In the middle here, your gears are in place and your corner brackets are also in place. So this is what it should look like right now. All right. And we are getting closer and closer to having a working pendulum. So that does it for part 5. I will see you on the next video for part 6. Thank you again for watching.